Are you pleased with the motion picture In Cold Blood?
It's a marvelous distillation of everything from my book. It's extremely, it's the most realistic film I've ever seen. It's almost too. The two boys are extraordinary in it. Yes, I'm very impressed with it.
Mr. Capote, there's been so much misunderstanding about the term non-fiction novel, which you used to describe In Cold Blood. Would you straighten us out today about the term and what you were trying to do?
Well, I think that I made a mistake, or not a mistake, but it's an awkward word, the non-fiction novel. But I must say, I couldn't think of any other combination of words that would describe precisely what I meant. What I intended to do was to write a book which would read precisely as though it were a novel. You see, the difference between fiction and journalism is that journalism, on the whole, moves horizontally. It's always on the surface. It's very hard for journalism to plunge down into the depths and real being another person. I mean, it's almost impossible to be inside the mind of someone at the same time be coasting on the surface of journalism. Now, in fiction, the main difference between fiction and journalism is that fiction moves vertically. In fiction, the writer is always deep down inside of the thing and moving horizontally, I mean vertically. Now, what I wanted to do was, and it never had been done before, despite all of this arguments that I've had about it, it was to move horizontally and vertically at the same time with a journalistic subject. And that's why I called it a nonfiction novel.
Everyone knows of the impact that the book had on journalism, on Kansas, on crime, on our knowledge of the Clutter family. I wonder, aside from the fact that you wrote a great novel, which is a big aside, what did those months in Kansas, what was the impact of Kansas on you? Did any of your values change? Were you a different person after you'd had this experience?
Well, you know, I was there off and on for over 6 years. It wasn't months, it was years. And yes, it did, because well, I came to know so many people there that I wouldn't have known under any other circumstance in my life, and came to like them a great deal and made many, many friends there. And one of the things that was especially helpful to me was to find that it was possible for me to make really deep and lasting friendships with people who weren't necessarily, that we weren't on the same wavelengths of sensitivity at all, you know? I mean, since I was, I've been, what, in the literary world since I was 17 years old. And since that time, I mean, almost all my life, it's been, all my friends have been all from a certain milieu. And it was really the first time that I had totally plunged and living all the time inside of a different atmosphere, and where I was really pulling my own weight, too. You know,
yes, they didn't know who you were, and there was
nothing. It was, you know, and so it gave me a lot of confidence in myself. You know, follow?
Did they think you were a very odd fellow when they first met you?
I think
the way you dressed?
In the beginning, but then afterwards, no.
You're possibly the most acute observer today. Are you ever bored? And if so, what bores you? Or do you always have this nourishing curiosity?
No, I'm terribly curious. I mean, it's very hard for me to get bored because even when somebody's being actively boring, I'm interested in how they are boring me. You know, exactly what it is, why is it that I'm so bored with them? What is it? I'm analyzing that, and so in a way that's fun, keeps me entertained. I can sit in a bus or a train and listen to conversations that are incredibly boring. But the fact that I'm eavesdropping on them, you know, makes it absolutely fascinating. I could listen all day long.
Do you have everything you want?
Who does? But I've got the one thing that I want most, and that is my own gifts. I mean, to me, that's all that really counts. As long as I have that, I don't really care about anything else. I mean, I could pack up in a suitcase and walk out of here and all of these houses of mine tomorrow and go live in a motel, and I mean it. I really could. I'm not at all the victim of possessions or wanting things or not. That's just a hobby. It's just something, an amusement. I'm not the least bit obligated to it or care in the least about it. I could really just get in an old flivver and go down and live in some motel on the outskirts of Detroit. And I have done things like that, too, because I find them very good places to work. They're so anonymous. But I could do that and be perfectly happy. And the only thing that I couldn't do without is my own conviction about my own creative gifts. If I didn't have that, I think I would feel very desolate.
You must get an awful lot of letters from young people who want to be writers. Do you have any specific advice for them? Do you think, for example, that they should go to college?
Well, you see, I think they should. I personally was always very much opposed to myself, even going to school, because I was absolutely not interested in it. I had my own self-method of education. And so when I was 16, 17, I just decided I wasn't going to go to college. I went to work at the New Yorker. And but that's a very special case, because, I mean, I was already an accomplished professional writer. Whereas I think these kids should go to college. And the main reason is that, aside from anything else, if they have any real talent, they will have a captive audience there in the classroom who will pay attention to their work, and teachers and whatnot, and there's nothing lonelier than to be working in a vacuum and not have a sounding board for your work. I mean, a good, cooperative, sensible sounding board. And for that reason alone, I think they should go. I don't think anybody can be taught to write. Yeah. I mean, that's ridiculous. All these writing classes that these kids go to, I mean, from any practical point of view, it's absolutely a lot of hogwash. But what is good is that they do have, in their little group effort with the teacher and their colleagues, they have an audience for their own work, and if they have talent, it will then come out.
When you were a child and you were different from the other kids, did they make fun of you?
No.
Never?
No, because I was always very dignified. I can't think of any other word that's, I mean, I was separate, but they respected it. And they respected my intelligence.
Is it hard to be different?
Yeah. It is, I think, up until you make some kind of emotional adjustment. It happens with me. I was about 22 before I felt very serene.
Are you religious?
No.
You thought a while.
Yeah, well, but you see, I happen to think that art is a form of religion, and I think art is a way of reaching, well, for what we're God, kind of God, and that occasionally, and very rarely, in sudden moments, one feels in art a state of grace, where it's as though a voice from a cloud was speaking to you and dictating to you what is transmitted through your hands into art. And so in a sense, it's a religious experience.